Word came out today that the Browns, in fact, did sign Isaiah Bond, wide receiver from Texas, and it was a 3-year contract, guaranteed. So he came out and thanked the Browns. This is from his agent, Damian Butler, tweeting that out. Remember, he was the guy that had legal issues, sexual assault charges against him at Texas, wasn't drafted, no bill delivered by Texas authorities, the prosecutors, saying they don't think they have enough to prosecute and convict him. So the other thing, they guarantee a $3 million contract. Mike Garafolo puts that in context. At just over $3 million guaranteed, Bond gets the guarantee that fits between the final pick of the second round, which is $4.2 million, first pick of the third round, $1.6 million. Bond is a guy that, Pete, he's kind of intriguing. I mean, the speed was there. I think it's 4.39, something like that at the combine. Said he could potentially run a 4.2. Hasn't been a lot of production, but what I had forgotten was at Alabama, Tommy Rees was his OC a few years ago.
Yeah, I think in the messaging, I think the Browns would be better off leaning into the Tommy Rees element of this whole thing and saying, look, Tommy Rees is sort of vouching for this guy, in addition to the fact that they've done the homework on the accusations and the fact that the grand jury didn't recommend any charges. But beyond that, look, Isaiah Bond is talented. He has speed. He's got reasonably okay hands for a guy who can take the top off a defense. This is something the Browns always want. They've wanted this. Kevin Stefanski has consistently had a guy that does these elements since he's been here. Rashad Perriman, then it was Kadero Hodge. Then they had, Anthony Schwartz, and so on and so forth. And, watching Isaiah Bond on tape, I was never overly impressed in terms of, polish or anything like that. I think he's a slightly better version of Anthony Schwartz. But for the price of not having to use a draft pick, I totally understand the idea of doing this. And then the contract just becomes sort of a free market element. I can't say I love the idea of sort of guaranteeing him a roster spot, which this contract would seemingly do, given the fact I don't know what he can prove in 3 weeks and what he can do, and what message that sends to somebody who's potentially, the rest of the team with guys who have been here for months. But that is the choice they are making. I don't have hugely high hopes for Isaiah Bond, simply because in terms of evaluating wide receivers, the number one trait that seems to carry over from college to the NFL is production. And if you look at his time, whether it was Alabama or Texas, he's never been overly productive. Some of that was blamed on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a raw quarterback, or not Jalen Hurts, Jalen Milroe. You can blame that and fine. You go to Texas, it was supposed to be better with Quinn Ewers and Steve Sarkisian, and I still don't think Quinn Ewers was all that good for him. But at some point, you are running into a concerning territory when you are saying that it's the quarterback's fault that you're not producing. Because when Isaiah Bond initially transferred, there were people who were projecting him to be the number one wide receiver of the entire draft for what this was going to do for him. It didn't translate. Not only did that not happen, Matthew Golden became the best receiver on Texas, and he became the guy who sort of took all the headlines. They had a tight end that outproduced Isaiah Bond. So I get it. I understand why they're doing this. I just don't, I'm not looking at this the way some are and thinking this is a huge answer to their wide receiver position. It's a shot. I get it. I just don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah, that's kind of the speed is there. So let's see if he can be. There are a lot of fast guys that can't play football. Let's see if he can play football.